Welcome back. In this video, we will go over the 7 criteria anatomists use for naming skeletal muscles. Starting with the first criteria, direction of muscle fibers. For example, the orbicularis oculi muscle is named based on that criteria. The fibers run in a circle. Also, the orbicularis oris muscle, the fibers run in a circle. Another example is the rectus abdominis muscle, where the fibers, they run parallel to the midline of the body. The external oblique muscle, the fibers run with the angle to the midline of the body. Moving to the second criteria, which is shape of the muscle. For example, the trapezius muscle is trapezoid in shape. The deltoid muscle looks like the Greek letter delta. The rhomboid muscles, this is the rhomboid minor, the rhomboid major muscle, they look like a rhombus in shape. Moving to the third criteria, which is location of the muscle. For example, the supraspinatus muscle is on the supraspinous fossa of the scapula. The infraspinatus muscle is on the infraspinous fossa of the scapula. The frontalis muscle is on the frontal bone. The occipitalis muscle is on the occipital bone. The temporalis muscle is on the temporal bone. Moving to the fourth criteria, which is action of the muscle. The pronator teres muscle pronates the forearm. The pronator quadratus muscle pronates the forearm as well. The extensor digitorum muscle extends the fingers. The extensor digitorum longus muscle extends the toes. The flexor carpi radialis muscle flexes the wrists. The supinator muscle supinates the forearm. Moving to the fifth criteria, which is number of origins. For example, this is the biceps brachii muscle. Bi means two, ceps, two heads, two origins. We have the medial, which is the short head, and this is the long head. Another example is the triceps brachii muscle, which has 3 heads. This is the lateral head, this is the long head, and right here we have the medial head. Another example is the quadriceps femoris muscle. Quadri means 4, ceps heads. This is the vastus medialis, that is the rectus femoris, that is the vastus lateralis, and this is the 4th origin, which is the vastus intermedius muscle. Moving to the 6th criteria, which is relative size of the muscle. For example, this is the gluteus maximus. Maximus means the largest. This is the gluteus minimus. Minimus means the smallest. Another example is the fibularis longus. Longus means long. Fibularis brevis. Brevis means short. Moving to the 7th criteria, which is location of muscles, origin and insertion. Don't confuse this criteria with the location of the muscle criteria. An example of the 7th criteria, which is location of muscles, origin and insertion, we have the sternocleidomastoid muscle. This muscle, it has 2 origins. This muscle origin is on the sternum, sterno, and the clavicle, clavido. And it is inserted on the mastoid process of the temporal bone. Another example is the sternohyoid muscle, which runs between the sternum, that's one location, and the hyoid, that's the other location. There are muscles, for example, like the adductor longus. Right underneath it, we have the adductor brevis, adductor magnus. These 3 muscles are named based on 2 criteria. Adductor, which is the adduction, action of the muscle, and magnus, meaning large, brevis, short, longus, long, and relative size of the muscle. Whereas, for example, the pectoralis major muscle and the pectoralis minor muscle, these 2 muscles are named based on 2 criteria, which is the relative size, pectoralis major versus minor, and the location of the muscle, pectoralis, meaning this muscle is located on the pectoral region, which is the chest region. And according to that, the remaining skeletal muscles are named based on one or more of the 7 criteria for naming skeletal muscles.